We are super proud to announce that Stay Plugged In is now sponsored by HyperX for our online events for the month of August. Prizes will include a Cloud Stinger wireless headset and a Cloud Stinger wired headset for our Turbo Tuesday tournaments for the first and second winning teams. And then for our Valorant tournaments, which are every other week on Thursdays and Fridays, that will be the Alloy Origins Core Mechanical Gaming Keyboard, HX Red, and the Pulsefire FPS Pro Gaming Mouse, which the keyboard is for first place and the mouse is for second place.
Welcome back to Spincast, ladies and gentlemen. Keegan or Keegabyte on the internet once again here bringing you the show for today. But I am joined today by Joey DALY of the University of Alabama. How are you doing today, my good man?
I'm doing pretty good. Just been watching the LAC after I woke up and just getting ready for this.
Mm-hmm. So you're an avid League of Legends player then. I believe you're also the top laner for your club as well as being the competitive manager.
Well, I'm not the starting top laner for our best team. I'm kind of on the backup team. But yeah, I was recently elected to be the competitive manager back in I think April. And I've been the academy top laner since the spring. We kind of restructured our academy and varsity rosters in the winter break, so I was technically the sixth player on varsity in the fall.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. So tell me a little bit about yourself, first of all. I'm sure our viewers would love to know, how you got into esports, how you got into collegiate esports especially, and you're a league player, so I mean, you could have a huge history going back in league. So tell us a little bit about your experience.
Yeah, when it comes to esports, I didn't really follow it too closely going most of the way through high school. I think like senior year was when I really started actually right when they did all the franchising and 100 Thieves made a team in the LCS, that really caught my attention to start watching a little bit more and a little closer. And we didn't really have much of an esports program in my high school. I don't really know anybody. I was only in like a Smash club. That was really about it. And come college, I just kind of needed a club to find people, and I felt like an esports club would really fit that, and I met a lot of really cool people, and I'm now really good friends with.
Okay, cool. So tell us a little bit about the esports club at the University of Alabama, because it's a bit of a different esports club from what we see a lot of other places. So tell us a little bit about the organization there.
Yeah, so the general esports club just kind of has a bunch of different games under it. So we have Overwatch, Rainbow Six, League of Legends, CSGO, Rocket League, all of that mainstream competitive games. Our League of Legends branch of it is definitely the largest branch out of all of them. And we have it structured to where we have both the competitive scene and a more casual like in-house scene. We have that league running. We have a league of, I think in the spring it was 3 teams. I think in the fall it was about 6 or so. And it's just kind of a more recreational thing. Every Tuesday night they play a game about a best of 2 series. And the competitive teams, we have both a varsity roster and an academy roster. They don't really swap around too much, but we do have tryouts for that every fall.
Okay. So you guys are club only. You don't have any actual varsity sports that are actually like school managed and affiliated with scholarships and everything, right?
Yeah, we're basically just a sports club under the school. They only give us a little bit of money every semester, but it's nothing too substantial.
At least it's something, right?
Yeah, it beats zero.
Yeah, it's better than nothing. But at the same time, so there's a lot of discussion out there about, is there a difference? And well, there's always a difference, but which one's better, club versus varsity? And so tell us a little bit about the social dynamic at the club. Is it more focused on competitive, or do you guys try to follow a little bit more of a social space where it can be more of a community, or do you guys have really focuses on both?
It's kind of a focus on both. I would say it's definitely more of a social club first. Like the competitive scene is only about 7 or 8 people at a time. They really take that seriously, and then the rest of the club is mostly just a social space for people to get to know each other and make more friends.
Okay.
And I think that tends to build relationships better in general for college. We are looking into starting new programs come this next fall to integrate freshmen into the school more. One thing we were looking at was an optional mentorship program type thing.
Mhm.
where freshmen can opt into it, and then upperclassmen can also opt in to have a freshman mentor, and they can just generally spend time together, play some games together, or if they have any questions about adjusting to the campus life, they can shoot them to the upperclassmen.
Okay. So then you said that you're getting started on the working with the incoming freshman thing. Do you guys, how much do you do that now? Because recruiting is one of those big things that's also coming out very strong in varsity esports lately.
We haven't really done much when it comes to the recruiting side because we don't really get much funding to go travel and actually do that. It's more of a once they're here, we can integrate them into the club better. We get about 15 freshmen or so per fall is what I've been told so far. I'm only an incoming sophomore myself. But yeah, I've gotten pretty well integrated into both the competitive side and the more casual side of the club just by being a member of it and being active.
Okay. All right. So then talking about this competitive and casual side, obviously there's going to be differences between the two. But first of all, the differences I want to focus on. Tell me a little bit about how your competitive team or teams go about their day/week at the University of Alabama, considering that they're competing for the University of Alabama in various tournaments. And do you guys have any sort of means of enforcing like GPA or study hours or anything of that nature?
When it comes to like GPA and study hours, we don't really have anything enforcing that. We just kind of have an expectation of like doing well. But when it comes to the schedule, we do have scrims for our varsity team every Monday and Wednesday night. We have VOD reviews every Friday. And then whenever it comes to the actual scheduling of games, it just kind of depends on whatever league we're signed up in. That kind of varies between the leagues. Some of them are on the weekend. Some of them are like sometime during the week. Outside of that, it's more casual time-wise. You can just kind of spend like the couple hours a day playing. We do have like weekly homework assignments of playing a couple solo queue games or watching a VOD from a pro player and writing notes about it. That's most of the structure when it comes to that kinds of stuff for our competitive side.
Yeah, that's an interesting way of going about it. The homework assignments. How did you guys come up with that idea? And do you see like a lot of improvement from those?
It does definitely help to look at the VODs and understand what the like players that are much higher up and like the best players out there are doing. Because when you actually sit down to look at it, you can see the individual decisions that they're making and why they're doing it. That's why the note taking is more important. You're not just seeing what they're doing; you're looking at why they're doing it. And that I think was an idea from our now ex-head coach Chip, and he definitely has done a lot to improve the competitive integrity on our club.
Okay.
Made it a little more structured.
And your head coach Chip, is he a faculty member or is he a student?
He's actually a student. He's graduating soon. So
Okay.
yeah.
Who knows? Maybe he'll come back as a coach, as an actual faculty member, right?
Yeah, maybe.
Are you guys pushing for that varsity status, or are you guys kind of content to stay as a club where you're at right now? Or at least for some teams.
We might be looking into it. I haven't actually been told too much about that, but we are actually working with one of our club sponsors of getting a room on campus with just some computers that people can go and play games at. If their setup's not the best, they can use that recreationally, or our teams can book a time there. If they have a game, they can all be in the same room together, and that just helps with the coordination.
Now, do you guys host tournaments like on your own in various games, whatever game you host them in, or do you guys mainly just compete?
Most of the time we're just competing. We have hosted a couple of tournaments recently, like back in February. We had a best of the best tournament where you could sign up as a team of 5, and we essentially did it like an Olympic style thing where you compete in various different games and your total score ends up being your final ranking. So that was definitely a fun experience. I won the Smash version of that, won the Smash part of that. So that was fun.
Yeah. Well, that seems neat. So when you do those events, how much do you work in? I assume it's entirely student led.
Yeah, it's almost entirely student led. We do have sponsors for the events, obviously, because it's not free to do, but
yeah,
they tend to provide like setups or any of the other required stuff for that.
Okay. So I have a couple more questions for you here, real quick,
Mhm.
and one of them is a really hot topic in collegiate esports right now, and that is it. And I'm going to say 4 letters, and you're going to know exactly what I'm talking about, and that is NCAA. There's been a lot of talk about the NCAA getting involved in esports. Or potentially just other governing bodies coming into the collegiate scene. We already have a couple out there: NACE, Collegiate Star, TESPA, to name a few. Do you think that the collegiate space needs those governing bodies, or do you think that it should be up to like the individual schools, the developers, or the conferences?
I mean, I think definitely having a more structured format could work. I just think that it's more about actually transitioning the collegiate talent to like the professional scene. I think that's where it definitely needs to grow the most. It has the most room to grow. Because very few collegiate players are moving on to go play in the professional scenes, which I think definitely diminishes the value of the collegiate scene
Mhm.
compared to like traditional sports like the NCAA football or the NFL,
It
like
almost seems
with all
it
that
almost
stuff.
seems with some games that it's the exact opposite way around, where you go from the professional scene to the collegiate scene,
Yeah,
and then kind of retire there. And I mean, some places you can get a scholarship for it, and then I mean, you just get a free education and
yeah.
move on with your life. But it, do you think so? Do you think that's going to happen, where professionals start recruiting more players out of the collegiate scene?
I don't know if it'll happen anytime soon, but I think like if something like that does end up happening, we definitely have a lot of room to grow the viewership of esports because I think at that point you can kind of watch a player's career develop from college all the way to the pro scene, and a lot of people do find entertainment value in that, and that could definitely help to grow the scene.
Okay. And then there's the other side of it. It's like, while you're in the collegiate scene, you can also spend time like designing a brand around yourself and using the tools that you gain in the scene to design that brand and to maybe be a content creator after you leave college. Who knows? But do you guys have any like content creators in your club that are very focused on like becoming a Twitch star or like a YouTube star?
We have a couple of people that live stream, but it's nothing too extensive. I do live stream myself, but nothing. I haven't gotten any significant
I
viewership, and I
feel that.
haven't really been able to stream since I've been home from quarantine. I don't have my full
Oh
PC
yeah.
with me, so it
Has
definitely hinders.
how's the quarantine helping and or hindering you guys? Because there's it's all across the board right now for different schools.
I mean, it's definitely different. It makes it a whole lot harder to do any sort of VOD reviews type things. We are kind of on a hiatus for the summer, so it's not that much of a change. Because the last couple summers, we've only been around for a couple years at this point.
Mhm.
Um, so the last couple summers, there's always been a break. So it's not a huge change when it comes to that. But come fall, if we're still doing a bunch of stuff online, and that's when you'll really start seeing the changes, any
Okay.
sort of changes affecting how stuff
Yeah.
goes.
Yeah, especially with a lot of colleges out there transitioning to like they're either going to do, partially in person, partially digital, or just entirely digital over the course of this upcoming semester due to the global pandemic going on right now. Um, Hopefully you guys are able to get through that okay.
Hmm.
Because I know that there are a lot of schools out there saying it's like, oh, clubs and everything, they can't do anything right now. But esports is in such a great position where it's like, yes, we can because it's all online. Have you guys received any pushback on that front?
Not that I know of. It's mostly we didn't really hold a ton of in-person events before anyway. It was only
Okay.
like about 1 or 2 meetings at the most, right around the start of the semester. We would every so often we had a club dinner. I imagine those won't exactly be a common thing anymore
Okay.
this fall at least. But yeah, most of the interactions we had were online anyway, so I doubt it'll be that much of a change.
Okay. Well, hopefully your university is understanding about that. Now, I do have one more question to ask you before we wrap up here because we are starting to run out of time.
Mhm.
And that is if you were to give any advice to a middle or high schooler coming up through, it, and loving esports, wanting to be a part of this community and take that into college as well through whatever means they choose, whether it be production, playing, support staff, it doesn't matter. How would you suggest they go about that? And how would you suggest they defend that decision to those people who still have the esports stigma, like maybe parents, faculty, or teachers?
Um, I think when you go about doing it, you definitely just kind of have to make sure you're not spending all of your time on it because obviously your school comes first. You have to be able to get those grades to get into the college. But I'm actually not really that good at League. I'm just I'm only like mid-plat at that. So nothing too special. I just kind of have been really active in the club. Been talking to a bunch of the higher ups before, getting my name out there. At the point where everybody knows it, and I've definitely been. And you just got to follow esports closely, know how the game works, and if you're willing to put in the time to learn and grow, you can definitely find success meeting people and developing in the esports scene a lot further than you would think.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Joey, for coming out and talking with us today. Where can we find you, and where can we find University of Alabama Esports?
I don't really have many social medias. I got the Twitch and YouTube, both of the same as my as the Youngs3R_Joey. My league has a space because Riot doesn't like underscores apparently.
Right, yeah.
I think we have a Twitter. I don't actually know what it is. Let me check really quick. Is it here? Hold on.
To the editor, don't cut out this long silence here.
Let me find it really quick. I don't know why I'm having such trouble finding it. Why is it hard to find? Wow, our Discord is not very organized.
That's most Discords.
Yeah. Look for the Twitter. Yeah. All right. So our club's Twitter is UA Esports, or the tag is Alabama Esports. You'll find a bunch of announcements on there. Yeah, it's mostly just announcements for any events we're having or any sort of apparel we're selling.
Okay. Well, awesome. Thank you very much, Joey, and thank you all very much for coming out and watching Spincast today. Just remember, stay happy, stay healthy, and stay plugged in.